What we have here is the Artemis 4-pod roof light. Comes with the main mounting chassis. We have already pre-fit the lights to it. You will have to do that yourself. It comes with Phillips short screws that you'll have to apply on both sides. You'll also want to level them off as best you can for the initial install. Once we get it up on the roof, we'll have to do some final leveling, but this gets you close. You have your cover. It'll also come with 4 screws that hold down the cover, along with the clips that will be fitted into the frame for mounting the cover. It'll come with packets of adhesive promoter. You'll need a Phillips screwdriver, a T30 Torx screwdriver, a tape measure, metric or standard. I'll give you specifications for both. Some painter's tape, some black electrical tape would be preferred, but any similar tape will work. A cleaning solution of some sort that will help remove any kind of wax or any film that might be on top of the vehicle, and a microfiber. One of the preliminary things I like to do is go ahead and remove the A-pillar. Start by removing this trim. You can get behind it, unclip it. Right there is our T30 Torx that we need to remove. And then pull the A-pillar trim down and it'll unclip. Next, we've already pre-taped it here, but you'll want to measure out from this back edge of this panel. Moving forward, you'll want to measure out 125 millimeters or just shy of 5 inches. And that will be the back edge of the frame for the 4-pod lights. At this point, we would like to peel the tape. What you may have noticed is the very back leading edge tape. I do not peel it fully. I just go ahead and lift a corner and leave a little tab. I'll do both ends just to make sure that I have a tab in case that one, for some reason, during the install flops in. I've got the other one to try. So you want to make sure and go through, take the adhesive promoter, go all the way up to this leading edge here. Make sure to get as much of the surface area as you can. And grab the light frame. Like I showed before, you want to leave this leading edge, make sure your little flaps are sticking out. Line up with the tape marks that you've made prior. Work with the other person to try and center it. And then just slowly lay it down while watching your marks. So you have it in position. Go ahead and firmly press down along the whole chassis. Also, go ahead and start peeling your tape strip. Go ahead and remove your painter's tape marks. Again, make sure that it is pressed down firmly all the way along the chassis. Also this front leading edge. Next, you want to set up your wiring harness. There's connectors, one for each one. Go ahead and clip them all together. Once you have them all clipped together, go ahead and route the wiring. I like to hide the connectors alongside the light. And then go ahead and use some electrical tape, duct tape, something along those lines to go ahead and secure the harness and connectors. This will keep you from having any kind of potential rattling issues in the future. For this connector right here, you want to make sure that you keep it back a little bit because the contour does come down on the cover. Go ahead and install the speed clips. Sometimes you might have to pre-tension them a little bit to help them sit in place. You'll want to run the harness out the side recess area right here. We run it down this rain channel, run it all the way down the A-pillar, tuck it in behind the cowl panel, and then we run it down next to the fuse panel box. You'll need to remove that cover, which we have previously removed. And just right up through here, we will run the harness. Making sure to pull all of the excess through into the cowl area. Okay. Once you have all of that, go ahead and slide the cover piece on. It hooks in the front and then just snaps in. And you can put in your Phillips screws to help secure it. You can go ahead and install the A-pillar trim. Make sure it lines up with its locks. Make sure your harness is in position and then slide it up and lock it in. You'll want to reinstall your T30 screw. And the trim panel piece. It locks in with this leading edge here, and it has a snap on that side. Go ahead, shut the door. Make sure your trim is all nice and secure. And then next is to install the wiring harness to the fuse panel. Now we have moved on to the installation of the light pod relay box for the roof lights. We have run the extra wiring harness out. I in turn have preliminarily clipped the harness, removed some of the sheathing to give me essentially two separate pieces of harness. The extra loose half of harness, I have installed the fuse. It has also shared a common power source here to our relay harness for our front grille lights. You can reference that in another video. But the main harness that we clipped off, I used that power source to go to the relay box, take the ground side of that same section, run it through a small opening in the firewall here, add a eyelet to be able to install to this 10mm that is part of the support bracket for the jumper post and the harness assembly. Go ahead and secure the ground. Take the wires, the one coming from the relay, attach to the relay box input side. Make sure the red is going to positive and black is going to negative. These symbols are very small, so pay extra attention. And we take our harness coming down from the A-pillar, which ran up to the roof lights. Install those in the output side, again paying attention to which one is positive and which one's negative. I also like to make sure that I don't have any extra strands hanging out that could cause an arc. Now that we have finished wiring up the relay box, we can work on the power source. We have added the fuse that it comes with the kit. We use a shared power that we separate, one for our relay box, the other power source goes to our ignition source for our harness for our front lights. You can reference that in another video. We run this down, it goes into fuse number 7 on this outer lower relay box. I have also notched the grommet here so that the harness can slide down in between when you install the cover. Need to wrap up our extra harness. We need to make sure that we tuck our relay box up behind here and secure it to the factory harness. Secure it to the factory harness behind the fuse box. It helps to protect that relay box from getting excess water on it. I also like to rotate it back just a little bit. Once everything's secured, we can reinstall the fuse box cover and the cowl panel.
That's a good angle.
One thing you'll want to make sure and do is the button for the relay box, press it, make sure the red light comes on. That tells you that it has good batteries in it. And then we'll move on to testing the light to make sure that it functions.